Okay, so Game of Thrones Season 7, the preview for Episode 6. It's obviously going to start where the last episode ended, with Jon and the Magnificent Seven going north of the Wall. I'm excited about this episode because they've done this in the past, where they have episodes that focus on one place. We're going to get some scenes at Winterfell, we're going to get some scenes at Dragonstone, but the majority of this episode is going to be north of the Wall.
Oh, it's fantastic. I feel like they'll do something like the Battle of the Bastards last year, where they started with Daenerys, and that awesome battle, like the first time she's on the dragon, and then just go straight to the Battle of the Bastards for the rest of the episode. Early on, we'll get maybe scenes of Daenerys, maybe scenes of Winterfell, and then just focus straight. How long is the next episode?
71 minutes.
Yeah, so you can literally, the first 15 minutes and then spend almost a full hour beyond the wall.
We basically, with the last two episodes, we have a 2.5 hour movie. We have 71 minutes, 80 minutes for the last episode. So it's about 2 hours and 40 minutes, including credits, the opening credits. With this episode, I want to start, let's talk about the White Walkers first. Why do you think the White Walkers are so held up in the north, that they haven't marched on the wall? Do you think that they're trying to lure men north of the wall, that they need something to bring the wall down? Because we both think the wall is coming down this season, maybe?
Yeah, I mean, there's so many different theories of why they're just so complacent, because there's a shot in this trailer of that the Hound looks at this mountain, and if you recall, it's the same mountain Bran sees when he's...
Season 6, Episode 5.
Yes,
when he's scouting the army of the dead.
When he's scouting the army of the dead in the cave of the Three-Eyed Raven, and that's when the White Walker grabs him. But you can see that same mountain range there. So pretty much the White Walkers have stayed where they were since then.
Yeah, maybe they were pushed back because they wanted to go attack the Three-Eyed Raven's cave. They were getting closer to Eastwatch, but they found a way that they can enter the cave, they can bypass that magic, and they thought, let's take this guy out, because this is probably our most powerful adversary at this moment.
And you don't know what they know as well. Do they have some green sight as well?
Well, it looks like the Night King does.
They have some magic element to them, so they might be trying to draw Jon and everyone towards them as a way for them to actually get the wall down. I don't know if it has something to do with maybe Stark blood or some magic. That the wall has magic in it that doesn't allow the White Walkers to pass.
Right, we learned that from Benjen. I think there's two ways that the wall could come down. The one way from the books is the Horn of Winter. That's something that I don't think we're going to see. It's kind of like Dragonbinder. It's something in the books. It's too late to introduce it. Even in the books, they're not even sure if it works, if it's real, if anybody really has possession of it. Maybe the White Walkers have this in their back pocket. That would be epic.
I still think they're trying to draw them out because they stayed in the same spot. Maybe
they're drawing them out because maybe Bran can find the location of it.
Yeah, maybe
because Bran is such a powerful greenseer that he's going to lead Jon and his men to the Horn of Winter, and the Night King is going to be like, can I take that from you?
Maybe he's just trying to do what they're doing. They're trying to get a White Walker. Maybe he's just trying to find, like, a Stark to show his voice.
To the Ice Dragon Queen that's all the way north. You need to prove that there's humans south of the wall, because nobody's believing me.
Yeah, I think that Bran is going to be the one that leads them towards where the White Walkers are, via ravens and warging. So it'll be interesting to see him just... Maybe he takes part in the battle, too. Maybe he just uses a flock of crows or different animals that are around and just helps them out as well.
Now, do you think Benjen could be the White that they take south with them? Maybe they reunite with Benjen north of the wall because we know he's still there. That's the mistake that they make. We see Jon reunites with his uncle and says, we need to take you south to prove that men are coming back to life and attacking us. But then I guess that wouldn't work because Benjen is aware that he's not allowed south of the wall.
It's a very confusing concept, too, that they can bring a White. Like, wouldn't the Night's King know what they're doing? And can he just choose to unanimate that one corpse? Something like that? Or can they even survive that far south of the wall? We don't know enough to answer these questions, and I find it kind of a little odd that the Night's King could basically animate corpses. He can unanimate one as well. So that's why I would assume they're trying to get an actual White Walker to bring down.
A White Walker?
Yes.
Because in the episode they do say a White. A White Walker would be more convincing, but I'm assuming that a White Walker definitely cannot survive.
They'll bring the winter with them.
Right. I was thinking there could be a possibility of one of Jon's men falling and then gets resurrected, and they just all gang up on him, and that's who they bring. They bring back somebody who fell that they all...
Yeah, but if you're the Night's King, you'd probably just be like, all right.
Don't want to be a super nerd, but Night King.
Ah, fuck you.
I just want to protect you from the commenter.
I don't know how he does it. He just turns off that guy. Shuts him down.
Well, I guess there would be a limit to his magic if they get him
Pulls
far
out
away.
Like his touchscreen iPad and just doop. White number 00697.
Westworld. Night King.
Yeah.
Dr. Ford.
What wall?
Doesn't look like anything to me. Okay, so let's go character by character. The big seven that Jon is bringing north of the wall, if you think they're going to die. We'll start with Gendry. Do you think Gendry makes it back?
Yes. No point to bring him in just to die in the next episode.
Yeah, that's my whole thing, too. I think that he was introduced because in the show, he is the last of the Baratheon line. Maybe Jon or Daenerys legitimizes him, puts him on Storm's End, allows him to
If he dies this
rule.
episode, it's full fan service that they brought him back.
I think that was my biggest problem with the Nymeria scene, too. It just didn't seem necessary. If Nymeria went with Arya, that would have been really cool, but budget. Tormund.
Dead.
Yeah, I think he's dead, too.
I hate to say it, he's one of my favorite characters, but
Yeah, I love Tormund.
he's someone that would make sense. Like, he's a main character, but he's not that big, but he's liked enough where...
I thought he was going to die during the Battle of the Bastards.
Oh, yeah, I'm so shocked that he made it through that.
Yeah, that one scene where he's being headbutt and...
I hope so. I hope they all make it out.
No way. This is the Suicide Squad for real.
Fucking
Where people are going to die.
I thought same thing with Battle of the Bastards. I'm like, no way they all survive, and just a giant.
If they all survive this, then the show has gone completely away from what made it so great. That there are consequences to your actions. Tormund's a great character because, once again, he starts on the side of the wildlings, him and Jon Snow. Jon Snow deceives him, and now they're very close allies because they both understand the threat north of the wall. So if Tormund does go out, I will be very upset about that, but I think somebody's got to die out of this 7. Thoros Emir, dead.
Dead, yeah.
Yeah. Thoros is a character. His whole mission was he was sent from Essos by the Red Priests to try to convince Robert Baratheon to convert to the Lord of Light. And Thoros and Beric in Season 1, they were commissioned by Ned Stark to take out the Mountain. You see how far that these characters have come. They're played by completely new actors since the first season.
Not Thoros.
But their mission has changed. Obviously, they've went from working as men of the king to now men of the Lord of Light, and they're fighting for the greater cause. They brought the Hound into that cause. But I think Thoros Emir, I think this is where he meets his end.
Yeah, I think Thoros will die, and then I think the Hound will go down, and then knowing that they don't have anyone to bring him back, that's when Beric will use his Kiss of Life on the Hound. It makes sense thinking of, like, so far when we've seen the two together, the Hound talking about his whole redemption. Like, there's been a lot of talk about how he's a good and he still has a role to play, and that he...
Yeah, it's Season 6 with Brother Ray.
And even when he's talking to Thoros and Beric at that cabin when they take camp for that night, it has to do a lot with the Hound and saying he still has something left. There is good in him. And I think that would be cool to see Beric seeing so much of that in the Hound that he would give his life to resurrect the Hound, knowing that he has a greater role to play in the coming war.
Yeah, they do foreshadow that in the scene in the cabin in episode 1 where the Hound asks Beric, why are you still here? Why does the Lord keep bringing you back? So they kind of hint that Beric could give the kiss of life.
So I think that would make sense.
So the Hound falls and Beric brings him back to life.
Yes.
So the Hound basically survives.
Yes.
Right now we still have Gendry and the Hound.
And then
Jorah. I think Jorah falls. I think it would be because that scene between him and Tyrion in the last episode in Eastwatch where he gives him the coin that was given to them by the slaver and says, bring this back. Don't become this show, Game of Thrones. You know? Don't guarantee that somebody's going to come back because somebody gave him a memento. I think he falls. I think this was the point of bringing him back. He can go on one last mission for Daenerys and prove that.
I'd rather it be like him fighting next to Daenerys. If he has to die, like saving her life by risking his.
It is cool to see him kind of following in his father's footsteps, though. You know, Jeor Mormont was the Lord Commander of the Night's Watch.
Yeah.
Jorah finds himself north of the wall.
Yeah. Wow.
Coming full circle. You think Jon gives him the sword back?
No, it's mine. It's not mine, it's Jon's. It's not mine.
Well, then Jon could take Brienne's.
Technically, it should be his.
Yeah. Why didn't they bring Brienne?
She does have a Valyrian steel
sword.
sword.
You would think...
But her job, I mean, is to protect Sansa and Arya, though.
Yeah, right. Okay. Well, I wanted to see that, but whatever. Fuck me, right?
So did Tormund.
The big lady. Now, Jon. Do you think Jon dies in this episode?
No.
See, I think Jon will fall in this episode. I think he can fall. I think the Kiss of Life is being saved for Jon, not for the Hound.
Yeah, I mean, well, the Kiss of Life is basically, in the books, Beric's able to bring back Catelyn Stark to become Lady Stoneheart via the Kiss of Life, giving his, I guess, fire from the Red God to her and then causing him to die. So it would be an ultimate sacrifice for Beric. I just don't see Jon getting resurrected twice by the Red God. I mean, it's just a little too much.
This time, Jon would come back as like a Benjen type of character, where he's not Jon anymore. He's not necessarily alive, but he's not dead. He's that intermediate between the living and the dead, because that's the role that a lot of theories have placed him in, that he's going to act as a negotiator between the living and the dead. So if he comes back as not dead but not alive, I think that would serve the story if he truly is the prince that was promised. I mean, Beric's a character that's come back to life 7 times.
Beric was the main character and just dying every season and coming back. It would get old after a while. You want to make it mean something. You want it to have some substance. You just don't want to, throw it in there for a cool moment. Like, oh, I just think doing it again would take away the significance of it happening in the first place. You don't have to make him die twice. Beric says he loses some of him when he comes back. Lady Catelyn lost a huge part of her when she came back.
And Jon did not.
Barely. Yeah, Jon's the same fucking person. So
that's why I think it's going to come back again, because they've been foreshadowing.
So why not just fucking do it in the first place? Why not have him come back?
Why are you getting so excited?
I don't know, man. You're yelling. I don't know. Game of Thrones gets me heated, man. I get mad at things that I don't even know are going to happen. It just pisses me off.
There have been some moments in this season where it looks like they're foreshadowing another Jon death, where Daenerys keeps bringing up the fact that he took a knife to the heart when Sansa says to Arya, his heart's going to stop when he meets you again. We'll have a friendly wager. If I win, you're off the show. If you win, you quit.
Now, speaking of Daenerys, do you think she might try to...
Well, the shot from the preview, it looks like she's contemplating a decision to go north.
Yeah, you think she might just be like, you know what, they might need some help. It's like a 5-minute ride for me, so I'll go peek over, see what they're doing.
I think there's a strong possibility that they all die besides Jon. That Jon is the lone wolf, that he's the only one that survives this trek.
There's a shot of them running back, so they're obviously outnumbered and in some trouble.
Right.
How sick would it be if they're running back towards the wall with this horde of White Walkers coming towards them, and over the wall you just see 3 fucking dragons take out the White Walkers. I should write the show.
And then that sounds... I think we might see some White Walker versus dragon action in this episode, which would be totally unexpected. I don't think a lot of people are thinking that Daenerys is going to go north in this episode, but I think it could happen because they do focus on her a little bit in this preview. This is what this is what fans have been waiting for since 1996, dragons versus White Walkers. Could it happen in this episode? I think there is a possibility. We see the way that these 7 men are fighting the White Walkers, so we know that the Night King is going to be in this episode. He's going to have some of his lieutenants. So I'm really excited about that. I love White Walker action in the show.
Yeah, I mean, what do you think their game plan is going to be? It's not obviously, it's just...
When Jon tells Sam in Season 4, the finale, I think, for Season 4, when he plans to go kill Mance Rayder, and Sam's like, what the fuck are you thinking? And Jon's like, it's not a good plan. Do you have a better one? And Sam's like, not really. You said that this is kind of a stupid storyline, the fact that they're trying to get a wipe, but what other choice do they have to unite the 7 kingdoms? It seems like the only route to go.
If Jon has a chance, even if he's going to die to kill the Night King, he's going to take that chance. Like, if he sees an opportunity, I might die, but if I kill him, I pretty much save the 7 kingdoms. And Jon's definitely willing to make that sacrifice. But I just want to, what's their plan? I just don't get their plan going into it.
I think this is going to be a loss for them. This ends with the Night King getting an advantage and leading to the wall coming down. So we'll have to see. Arya and Sansa, we get an interaction where a couple of shots of Sansa and we get some voiceover of Arya saying, "You're scared, aren't you? What are you afraid of?" I think this is going to be the consequences of Arya reading that letter and confronting Sansa. Why would you sell out Ned? Why would you write this letter? Tell Robb that our father is a traitor. Come bend the knee to Joffrey. But you have to remember, Sansa was a little girl. She was being manipulated. She was in a room full of Varys, Cersei, and Littlefinger being forced to write this letter. What was she supposed to do? You have to hope that Arya can understand that.
You would think so. I mean, it's pretty logical. I mean, you think Arya's talking to Sansa? I think maybe Bran might see something, because I think Bran's going to be with Jon in some way via his green sight. So maybe Bran sees something and he gets a little shaken up, even though he doesn't have any emotions anymore.
It could be that, but...
Or Littlefinger.
It could be Littlefinger. It could be Arya finally confronting Littlefinger about what he did to Ned. And it could be directed towards Sansa, where we see that during the sparring session between Arya and Brienne, Sansa was taken back, and I think she was not afraid of Arya, but worried about what Arya could do if Sansa was on her bad side.
Maybe it's more straightforward. Maybe Arya's kind of tricking Littlefinger, whereas Littlefinger thinks he's manipulating Arya, the situation, when meanwhile Arya is, and she's maybe wearing a face of someone that is interacting with Littlefinger. Then she takes over face, and Littlefinger sees that, and he's like, "You scared, aren't you? What are you afraid of?"
Like Batman at the end of Arkham Knight?
Yeah.
The Scarecrow?
What's wrong? Scared.
Yeah, it could just be a line she says after she basically Littlefingers him and reveals that she's a faceless assassin. Hey,
It could happen. The show's known for confusing, backstabbing plots, so... Alright, only 2 episodes left for this season. 2 hours and 40 minutes. It's basically a Game of Thrones movie. It's something that I've always wanted.
Yeah, it's going to be great, and after that we can just start reviewing that Shelton.
Review what?
The Big Bang Theory spinoff, Shelton? Bazinga!